This is a man among boys.
Dials up the deep ball, looking for the connection, and he's gone!
Got locked in now, laser focus!
That's who you are! That's what we are!
That was kind of sweet.
Oh, dude, this is the first time in NFL history where three teams on the same weekend came back from a deficit of 17 points. The first time, three teams, same week, 17-point deficit, came back, no more, gone, insanity, week 15 insanity. Welcome back to Balls Deep. I didn't even welcome you back. I feel like I've seen it all, but I haven't, and yesterday just proved that. You never, until you've seen it all, you see something else. And then you think you've seen it all again. But then again, it just keeps coming back. We literally witnessed every game come down to the wire almost every game. And I say this a lot. Pretty sure I've said this on this show before. But that, right there, week 15, that was the best, I'd say the best overall week of football that I've ever seen. It was the greatest week of NFL doing NFL shit that I've ever seen in my life. Giants, Commanders, Bills, Dolphins, Jags, Cowboys, so many more games, and the greatest comeback in NFL history. We witnessed it. It's Christmas week, technically, so everybody make sure to spread some love. Unless you encounter the Bills, don't spread love, spread hate. Because the more and more I watch good teams that aren't my team play good and beat teams that I like, the more and more I think they don't deserve it. And I always root for the underdog. I don't know why. But you know what else I root for? The NFL meme dump of the day. And today we have more memes for you that increasingly get more weird as they go. Yeah, some people don't remember, but yeah, Tyrod Taylor won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, Super Bowl champ. The league didn't deserve Ladarius Green. I mean, they just didn't. No joke, bro, this actually happened. This guy has some balls, has some nuts, bigger nuts than my friend's French Bulldog. Dude, I had no idea that this guy was this old, bro. Who made this guy this old? Why is he this old? Orlando Scandrick when Miami overlooked Drick walks in. Yeah, dude, I feel like I should have known this, but I had no idea. I had no clue that he played football. I feel like I did know it, but I just completely, it was buried so deep in my mind that I just forgot. Okay, now that the important stuff is out of the way. All right, we can get to week 15. Week 15 ends and a new life for like half of the league and NFL fans begins. I felt like I was witnessing the resurrection of myself. Like I had an out-of-body experience watching all those games. I was just chugging cranberry ginger ale and pizza rolls, Tostino's pizza rolls, and I was just watching the games, and I felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. It was a great day. Great 2 days of football. The greatest slate of football games ever. Might be a little dramatic, but let's look into it and determine if that really is the case. Indianapolis and Minnesota, bro. We're going to right off the bat, we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right into this. I've been in the football watching and complaining business for about 9 years. Okay, since I'd say around the time that I first saw Wolf of Wall Street, when it first came out. You know, I was 10 or 11, and maybe I shouldn't have been watching it, but at least I know now for the future that the right amount of Quaaludes that you take in case I ever get in that situation. God forbid. I've been watching football since then, since that movie came out, and I've never seen a more embarrassing, laughable, and improbable collapse like the Colts just had against Minnesota. And I don't think we'll ever see it ever again, because you know why? Teams with a 30-plus point lead, they're like 1,540 or something like that, and won. Only one game has been lost out of 1,500 something. With that being the case, having a 30-point lead at some point in the second half or something like that. It doesn't surprise me. It would surprise me more, but the reason why it obviously is surprising, but it's the Colts. So I'm like, if there's any team that it was going to happen to, the Colts or Atlanta, but the Colts is just so much more hilarious because the fact that Matt Ryan came from Atlanta, the team that's known for choking, and went to Indianapolis, and it's the same old story. I don't know how the fuck this team beat Kansas City, bro. I mention that all the time. It's just craziness. 33-0 with 11 minutes in the third. 36-7 with 2 minutes in the third. 100% chance of winning at one point almost. You get a blocked punt return TD, a pick six on top of 19 other points, and your offense can't score 7 points after that. All you needed was a touchdown. All you needed was one touchdown, dude. Parks Frazier, the offensive coordinator, said, 33 points. We won't find ways to run the ball effectively. We won't attack underneath against the Vikings' soft-ass defense, playing bail ball on us all game. Nah, fuck that. We're going to call the worst play calls you've ever seen in your life, baby. Because that's how we do it here in Indianapolis, because we suck. Matt Ryan has now been a part of the biggest blown lead in Super Bowl history and in regular season history. And as funny as it is to blame him, realistically, bro, it's not all his fault. I mean, let's just be honest. Your defense gives up 39 points in the second half, and your offensive coordinator can't get a lick done with talented players. It's not like, yes, losing Jonathan Taylor hurt, but you got Michael Pittman, you got Alec Pierce, you got Jelani Woods, who looks pretty good, Deion Jackson. You traded for Zach Moss. Why did you trade for Zach Moss? He is clearly ineffective in your offense, bro. I don't know. Maybe you just like it. I'm really convinced some teams just like losing. Like, there's just no, like, the Texans, bro, I'm just convinced that they like sucking. You had Deshaun and DeAndre, and you somehow fucked that up. Somehow, some way. I was in and out of consciousness, and that's what happened to me while I was watching this game. So I saw the Colts rise for increments, and then I saw the Vikings start coming back. Then I fully woke myself up, and I was like, okay, I need to watch this game. Jeff Saturday became the first coach, last name Saturday, to coach on a Saturday and to lose on a Saturday. So at least you get that stat out of it. At least you broke that record. Colts. Miami, Buffalo, damn. That was one heck of a game. That was probably my most favorite game of the week. Snow was falling. Colors were matched beautifully. It looked aesthetically pleasing, division rivals. It's a good game. And it's exactly what I expected it to be. People were saying Dolphins got no chance. Bills are going to blow them out. I didn't see that at all. I really thought, I picked the Dolphins to win. I thought that they were going to pull out a miracle, a little Miami miracle on them. So I got to give them credit. They ran the ball with Mostert. I think he had his best game. He had 136 yards on 17 carries. The backup, Salvin Ahmed, also looked really good. He scored a touchdown. And I thought the Dolphins, they had just as good a chance as Buffalo did to win. Tua looked better than he did in the past few weeks. Cold weather is always a factor, but it really isn't like as big as it. People hype it up, and it really isn't as big as a deal as big of a deal as people make it out to be. It's just, it happens all the time. It's weather. Every football player has experienced almost every kind of weather you can, and it really comes down to who makes the better plays at the end, who makes the least amount of mistakes. And in this game especially, they really had no answer. They just couldn't stop Buffalo. It was really their defense. And they stopped Allen. They forced Allen a lot of incompletions. It wasn't the perfect game for Allen, but when he did hit, he hit deep. He hit big, and he was rushing the ball and passing the ball. They stopped them sometimes. Like, they made it difficult, but when the Bills were hitting plays, they were hitting deep plays, and they were hitting big plays. Average yards per play was around something like 7 or something like that. Yards per rush was around there, and it was just a good game for Buffalo. They just couldn't stop. Miami just couldn't stop them, and Allen's been in his Duffy, man. He's been in his Duffy bag lately. He's playing great. 12 total touchdowns over the 5-game win streak. And Bills are doing what they weren't able to do last year, and they're closing out close games. They're finding consistency late in the year and winning close games. They're running the ball more effectively with Singletary and Dalvin Cook. James Cook, Dalvin Cook Jr. And that's what you brought him in there for, man. Like, you brought Nyheim Hines and all those guys in there to improve your running game. So use them, and they are using them, and it's good. Because on top of that, they have Josh Allen, who's arguably the best running quarterback in the league. You really don't have to worry a whole lot about rushing with one guy on 25 carries. And they don't. And they're making that a huge part of their offense. And I think that's the reason for their success. Yeah, this team is dangerous. Their fans are also dangerous because they don't give a fuck. Ice balls, not even snowballs, ice balls being thrown. It's the only team in the league, maybe Philly, but really the only team in the league that you have to worry about getting hurt by their fans as well. Not just by the players, but you have to worry about their fans hurting you. from the fucking sideline with snowballs. If it snows in the AFC Championship, listen, I'm gonna just keep it real. Buffalo's probably getting the 1 seed. So if it's like, it's gonna be cold as shit up there, and if it snows again, I don't care what team it is. It's gonna be so fun to watch. Feel free to answer. Does this make Buffalo the best team in the AFC right now? I think yes, but Kansas City is there, but Cincinnati is like right there. They're knocking on the door. They're at like, if the Bills had like a Ring doorbell at their facility, Cincinnati's right there outside. Joe Burrow's right there outside, with Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase and that defense playing great. Miami was just the 1 seed 3 weeks ago. The AFC's nuts, and it's not over. They're not guaranteed the 1 seed, but they have a 2-game lead on a lot of teams. So, and some tiebreakers. So it's going to be close, but I think Bills are locked in for that 1 seed. But dude, anybody could. Miami almost beat them in there, and they beat them the first time. So I'm not putting anything out. AFC's tight.
Dallas, what happened?
You pile on. I don't understand, bro. You're like the only team in the league. I don't really care. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but it's just so annoying how it's painful to watch. You can put up 40 points and beat a team by 30, and then you could lose to a team with a losing record that you should beat and give up 40 points. And it's like when you had a 27-10 lead, a 17-point lead, and it's like, how? And you look at the box score, you look at all the team statistics, and it's pretty evenly matched. Like, they were good on third down. They led time of possession. They had the ball for 35 minutes to the Jags 27. They ran the ball 41 times. And they were not successful in yards per carry, really, but they kept the running game going. Dak was efficient, but he had two interceptions, which obviously that decided the game. Takeaways in games like this, even though Dallas had more takeaways than Jacksonville. They had 3 takeaways. They didn't capitalize on them, and Jacksonville did, which people say turnovers will lose you a game. It's really if you capitalize on those turnovers is really the difference, but it was evenly matched pretty much. But the Jags offense, they were just having their way. Like the Cowboys defense just couldn't stop them. And it's similar to the Green Bay game. They gave up 503 total yards. They have it's weird. That's why I say the Cowboys, you never know what you're going to get with them. It's like one day their defense looks like the best in the league, and the next they don't get a sack. And they let up 500 yards of total offense, and they make a bad team look really good. And that's kind of been their issue. They have problems, and as far as what you do, you can pretty much only hope that the 3 games that it matters in the playoffs that you play your best football. And it's not a great thing to wish upon or have that be your deciding factor to your games. But it's like teams like Philly and San Fran and Kansas City, you know what you're getting out of them. They don't care, and they're going to beat you up, and they're going to play good, and they're going to do it pretty consistently. Teams like Dallas, especially Dallas, they're just the opposite. They have their games where they look like the best team. They're so talented everywhere, but then they fail to show that the next 2 weeks or consistently. But they are 10-4. They're not it's not like a emergency or anything, but it's just we've seen it so many times over the years, and it makes you think, is this really a playoff team to be scared of? Because we all know what happens. They enter the playoffs and then they lose. And then it's like Dallas not entering an NFC Championship game for the 50th year in a row. But to be fair, Dallas is still really good. So it's just a little bump in the road, but come playoff time, man, we all know what happens. So we'll see if they could just shake this rust off. Almost losing. They really should have lost to Houston. It's slightly concerning. When you say Dallas needs to stick to being themselves, I think that means sticking to the run game, but more importantly, being effective in the run game. And they're not hitting explosive plays in the pass game, I don't think. I think they're methodical, but Gallup is so good at the deep ball. CD deserves more deep balls. Like, I don't know what being themselves means for Dallas. Like, I think it means having a lot of success in the run game. But, more importantly, as much as I do think it was a collapse, I do think it was just a better job. A better job by the Jags. Philly, Chicago. Hurts in the offense had some shaky moments. Hurts didn't have his best game, but they just find ways to win. Schematically, they're ahead. Situationally, they're ahead. Talent-wise, they're ahead. Overall, once again, the Eagles proved, for another week at least, they are the most consistent and best team in the league. Jalen Hurts continues to be the lightest light skin in the NFL. He's doing his thing. He's him. They do have vulnerable moments, but that isn't a knock. It's just a reality. That's the reality for every team. The Bears had success running on them. That's kind of been Philly's issue. Washington put out the blueprint, how to beat Philly, on Monday night, national TV. Find which way running the ball works on them. Stick to it. Make them drive the length of the field. Don't give them looks to take their shot or yak. Don't give them yak, because that's how they eat. Once when they get AJ going, they get that running game going and Hurts going, they start feeding AJ, and he gets all the yak, and then they hit Devontae over top. You have to make them drive the length of the field. But more importantly, your offense has to be kind of like your defense. You have to match them. And if that... Washington just found what worked for them. They don't necessarily run the ball 49 times, but that's what they did. They don't ever do that. But they found what worked for them, and it worked. And especially on defense, though, they didn't give up a big play for Philly. And Chicago, in my opinion, was the closest to imitating that. Almost. They did it for about 2.5 quarters, 3 quarters. Either way, Philly is just loaded. It'll take the best effort from any team to beat them. So it doesn't say much, but it says something. Justin Fields continues to look great. I mean, this play was just, it was beautiful, man.
Double-digit sack season. Fields moves in the pocket and gets away. Justin Fields takes off, turns a sack into a big gain and a first down. Justin Fields, otherworldly, stays in.
Unfortunately, in the second half, though, the Eagles realized, oh, this team sucks, and then they scored twice, and then they pretty much ran away with it. Chicago didn't really do much besides 2 late touchdowns. I mean, they did keep it close. It's not like they did keep it close. It was a 5-point game, man, against the best team in the league. Pretty good effort. Kept them under 30 points. But at the end of the day, a 3-10 team is going to look like a 3-10 team, and a 12-1 team is going to look like a 12-1 team. Detroit, New York. Oh my God. Guess what, man? My friends went to this game too, and my other boy who wanted to go, he's like, come on, man. We'll take shots of Hennessy. We're going to be in the parking lot at 10 a.m. The only shots fans got sick of were plays like this by Wilson.
Take the handoff. Wilson has time. And
even though he was off target for a lot of passes, he actually had some pretty amazing plays. Threw for 300 yards on 18 completions. It's pretty impressive. He threw a great pass to Garrett Wilson, a great touchdown to CJ Uzomah, and at the end of the game, threw an amazing pass to Davis over the middle. If it was him, if I'm not mistaken, to get into field goal range, man. He threw that rolling out to his right. Threw a dime, threw a perfect dot. And unfortunately, Greg, the paralyzed leg Zerline, kicked it away from the net. And, a silly goose, Greg. Silly Greg. It's not how you do it, bro. And for some reason, bro, I still believe in Wilson. Even though everyone's giving him shit, rightfully so, I still believe in the MILF Hunter 9000, bro. I fucking believe in him. For some reason, I don't know why. I can't give him up. Give it some time. Wilson is going to learn a lot. He's a really talented guy, man. He only started 1 year in college, and plays like that he made in the game, they're what keep me believing in him and me believing that he could be really, really, really good someday. And the Lions, how about the Lions, man? They're so good. They're finding ways to win, and they're not backing down. They're 6-1 in their last 7. I think if they get in the playoffs, they could face Minnesota. In fact, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to face Minnesota. And they split the season series, but dude, I'm all eyes and ears and mouth and nose for that game. I'm every sense for that game. I'm all in for it. I want to see it. And if it happens, the Lions could win. They really could. They have a shot. They could beat. I really think that they play anyone. They can beat anyone. Let's talk New England and Las Vegas. The Raiders, they almost Raidered again. They pulled a Raider. They were Raidering 17-3 lead. They blew it. It was almost fully blown, really fucking close. But what unraveled was it was amazing plays. It was a good game. It was a really good game. There were, so many good games. This game in particular was just, the ending was nuts. Darren Waller remembered he was a football player, and he showed up off of injury. He came in and he decided to play football, and he scored a touchdown, man. Good job. Welcome back, Darren Waller. And Derek Carr forgot that he was a football player and forgot what a defender was, and he threw this pass to Devontae Adams, which honestly, in reality, is just a shitty play call. You shouldn't call that play with that kind of look. It works, but in that situation, it's a bad play call. It's drawn up poorly. Just like that, the Patriots are right back in it, and all of a sudden, it's 24-24 after a really controversial pass touchdown completion that was ruled a touchdown, but it really didn't look like a touchdown. But at the same time, it may have looked like a touchdown, and I looked at it and I thought it was maybe a touchdown, very close. But all of a sudden, it's 24-24 all. We're tied. As you're looking for the Stanford band lateral start, they're nowhere in sight, and then holy shit, Jacoby Myers, what are you doing? And Chandler Jones picks it up. Impossible, almost impossible, improbable, almost. But the Raiders pulled it off. And the Raiders losing the craziest of ways this year and blowing leads, it was made up by winning in the most improbable way this season. This week was full of magic pixie dust, magic powder, and I'm not talking cocaine, okay? Even though I do think that's what Jacoby Myers took at halftime, because I don't know what he was thinking. He's acting like it's like they're going to lose if they don't get this touchdown. No, you're not. It's tied, bro. And I understand, you want to keep the play going, but bro, it's a live ball. It's a fumble. You're lateraling. It's technically a fumble. It was like he kind of just got lost in the moment, and that was nuts, man. And as far as that touchdown by Keelan Cole, I genuinely don't know. At first, I thought it was clearly out of bounds, but then I looked at it and I thought the angle is just not good enough. It's like you really can't tell. It was called a touchdown, and you look at it from up top, the overhead, and it looks like his foot is just out of bounds, but at the same time, it's not close enough. I don't think the frame is clear enough. You really would have to get a angle that shows every blade of grass, and we've had those, but they didn't have it. And maybe there was just enough grass, but it wasn't enough to determine not a touchdown. So I don't know. I don't hate it, but at the same time, I can understand why people were really upset. But that's not why you lost. New England, that's not why you lost, man. You lost because of Jacoby Myers at the end of the game and all the other mistakes. But that's neither here or there. What is here is Justin Herbert. Justin Surfer Boy Herbert. Dude, if my daughter came in with Justin Herbert, I'd tell her, bro, go. I know what you guys are. Go fuck right now. Do it. I don't give a fuck. Be as loud as you want. I don't care. I don't even need to look at your background history. I'm not gonna go crazy and go do a background search on you. You're good, man. Dude, but for real though, in all seriousness, this team is really good. The offense struggled, but the defense has turned a new leaf, and they're playing great without some of their big Joey Bosa and Derwin James, man. They're playing good. Imagine when they do get those guys back, and imagine when it's only Keenan Allen and Mike Williams this second game playing together. It's late in the season, and sometimes when you say, you should be together, you should be glued, everything should be clicking. And if it's not, it's a problem. But Chargers have a little bit of an excuse because they've been injured. So I really feel like if they can make the playoffs, they're very, very dangerous, and they have proven that they can play Kansas City and take them down to the wire, and they've beaten them before. I like the Chargers, and but I do think Herbert is going to have to be special for their offense to have any kind of chance, because right now their running game doesn't look great. They only scored 17. They could have had more. Herbert threw 2 picks, but happens. They still won, and they're finding ways to win, and they're on a win streak right now, 3 games. And as for Tennessee, dude, you got the king, man. You got Derrick Henry. You got a good defense. You got Mike Vrabel. You don't have a receiver that scares you, or at least a player that can just do something. You get the ball in their hands and you can make plays, and they don't have any of that. They don't like Derrick Henry really isn't even looking like Derrick Henry lately, and this team is still leading the division, but I don't feel like watching Tennessee losing in the first round for the third year in a row. I'd rather watch Jacksonville lose in the first round. And it's like that's pretty much how it is. It shouldn't be which playoff team is going to make it, and which team in the AFC South is going to win the division, make the playoffs. It should be which AFC South team is going to lose in the first round of the playoffs, because that's what always happens. That division is so dog shit. But hey, Jacksonville, they got a chance, and right now they're the best team. Tennessee has the better record, but right now Jacksonville's a better team than them. No question. They have more talent. And if they played them again, they play Jacksonville. Tennessee plays Jacksonville the last game of the season, and I'm almost convinced that that's going to be the game that determines the winner of that division. And Tennessee losing and Jacksonville winning, that really helps their odds. Tom Brady let Joe Burrow pull a trick out of his ass, his own trick out of his ass. Burrow pulled the Brady on Tom Brady. The young Brady, he's basically young Brady, bro. 17-point lead gone. Erased like every relationship I've had and my first pair of AirPods. I don't know where they go. I'm almost positive my dog ate them. Joey B is amazing. I love Joe Burrow. I love him. I think he's top 5. Honestly, I'm not afraid to say I love him, dude. He is one of my favorite QBs. I think people they don't put him in the category of Mahomes and Allen enough. I think he's definitely in that category, 1,000%. And I think he's the closest thing to a Brady that we've seen. And coincidentally, that was his matchup today and yesterday. And Kansas City will always be Kansas City. I still believe in Miami, and I say Buffalo is the best in the AFC. But once again, like I said before, Cincinnati is so close, and it's a coin toss. But they're winning games in every way possible, and they have every way to beat you. Their defense is playing great. They're taking the ball away. They're getting pressure. They were without Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard. Sam Hubbard got hurt in like the second quarter of that game, and they still put pressure on Brady. They turned the ball over 4 times. Their defense is turning up. Their offense, we all know what they can do. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are amazing. Hayden Hurst now, P. Ryan and Mixon, and their O-line is playing better. This team it's the same team as last year, and they're miles ahead from where they were last year. I think they're better. They had things going their way, they had some luck, that made them get to where they were. Still played great, but this year, I think they have some luck, but they have more of great plays and great play calling and just clutchness. They're just clutch, man. They're winning games in every which way. And that says a lot about a team. When you can play differently and adapt and win, it means you're a very good football team. The Bucs lose in embarrassing fashion again, and the NFC South still sucks ass. They suck ass, and they're still in the lead, though. Tampa Bay is. Somehow, this team is going to be in the playoffs. Somehow, some way, this team is going to host Dallas. And honestly, they could beat them. I'm not even joking. I can literally see them going in. They're so bad at running the ball, bro. It's not even funny. But it's not impossible for them to have a good day running, because they did it against Seattle. And even though Seattle was really bad, they still did it. They still ran the ball really well. And it's possible for them to do it again. They looked really good in that second half. They just collapsed. They had 4 turnovers in the second half, dude. Upsets happen. And if there's any team that it can happen to, it's going to be Dallas. And I really hope it happens, because I just hate Dallas, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy game. I think Cincinnati's so good. But, yeah, Tampa Bay. Just, dude, run the ball, man. Get Fournette in the game. Where's Fournette? The dude is nowhere to be found. He's good. Run the ball with him. It shouldn't be this hard. Run the ball, dude. You're making it hard on yourself. I don't know what's going on with this offense, man. They have so much talent. Godwin and Evans should be enough. You shouldn't need Julio. You shouldn't need Rashad White to come in every 5 seconds. Stick with Fournette or whoever has the hot hand, I guess. But they're making it way too hard. They're making too many mistakes, penalties and shit. But they're not playing great football, and that starts with the offensive coordinator, because their defense really ain't that bad. But when your offense sucks, your defense ain't going to stop anyone the whole game. Giants Washington, man, I fucking knew it, bro. I knew it. I picked Washington in my game picks on the best football page in the world on the Deep Ball on Saturday when I posted it, but I had a gut feeling. I had a feeling in my gut this is my gut. In my gut right here. Filled with pasta and fucking, what do I drink? Iced coffee. But I just had that feeling, man. I had it and I knew it and I was right. Brian Daboll is the fucking GOAT. Daniel Jones looked great. Mike Kafka called a beautiful game, man. Give it up, though, for DJ. Daniel Jones, he looked really good without his running game at full strength. You know, Barkley was pretty much stuffed for the majority of that game. Receivers out. He made it happen, and it shows what you can do with a team that knows who they are, and they know their identity. They know what they're good at. They put their players in the best position to be successful. Mike Kafka and Brian Daboll, they do that really, really well. They're running, the rush defense is kind of shaky. They give up their yards per rush are like something like, it's like crazy. It's like 5 yards a carry, which is nuts. Overall, though, they played good. They only allowed 12 points. They got takeaways, and the O-line played great, which is something that overall as a unit has been something that's been shaky. Kate Tibbs, the rook with a career day, 9 tackles, 1 sack with the scoop and score. And he was dominating, man, in that second half. And I mean, in the first half and in the second half a little bit. This was like one of the only games with like their full clique of guys there together playing, and they looked amazing. Like from Ojulari and Thibodeau, Lawrence and Leonard Williams, Jalen Smith, like Landon Collins in the box. They have something on defense. If they can get Adoree back, Xavier McKinney back, and keep the front 7 healthy, bro, they are a really good defense. And that, I'm telling you, the offense knows who they are, and any team that knows who they are and has a superstar at least one position, you can do damage. And that's why they have 8 wins. You know, they're not the most talented team, but they have an identity, and that's why they have 8 wins. And they don't turn the ball over either. And I love Heineke. I got to give him credit where credit's due. He gutted it out, you know, but Heineke is still going to make those plays where you look at it and you scratch your head and you think, damn, like, come on, man. Almost got picked off in the end zone and had that fumble. But, you know, it's a game of inches, and, you know, sometimes the inch just doesn't go your way. I do think, though, that Washington, you have all those talented receivers. You got to find a way, man. Like, 12 points is just not enough. I want to get into the controversial call that really isn't controversial. The first one, that is. The second one we'll get into. I want to say this. This is my thoughts about it, about the illegal formation. That was not the ref's fault, and I'm going to tell you why. A receiver checking at the line always happens. Illegal formations, like that one that was called, those happen. They're not common, but they do happen. All the people saying the refs blew that game, no, they didn't. They didn't blow that game. He told him to move up. He told McLaurin to move up. Told him twice. Looked at him 3 times. It's not his job to keep telling him to move up and move up and move up. It happens every play. Like, a ref tells him once, and it's his decision to move up as far as he wants. He didn't move up enough. McLaurin, it was an illegal formation. That's that. Like, and it's not something that happens all the time. So people are complaining like the ref needs to be held accountable. This is fucking atrocious. And it's like, dude, no, it's not. Like, this never happens. And this is like the only time I ever heard someone complain about a fucking illegal formation call. It's just not the ref's job to make sure the other player is doing their job and telling him multiple times to move up. It's just an unfortunate series of events that happened, and it happened, and that's that. However, the pass interference play that was a PI call that you could have called. They didn't. It's a subjective call. It's at the end of the game. It's the game. That's the game play, and they're going to let him fight it out. I can almost guarantee you if, you know, Curtis Samuel pushed off and got the ball, the ref probably would have let it go. But at the same time, I do want to be fair, and I'm going to say that is a PI call. In the second quarter, that's a PI call. They're going to throw that flag probably. So that's tough for the Commanders, but they did a lot of things to put themselves in that position on that play. So I'm not going to say that lost in the game. But Giants are at the 6th spot, and they moved their playoff chances up to like 80%, something crazy. And they're pretty much guaranteed now. They really just got to win one more game, and they're in. And that last spot is looking like it's going to come down to either Washington, Detroit, or Seattle. My pick is Detroit. And speaking of playoffs, we're talking the playoff picture and who I think will make it. The division winners, I'm going to say Buffalo's number one. They're in the 1 seed. I'm going to say Cincinnati gets the 2 seed. Kansas City gets the 3. Even though I want Jacksonville, I'm going to say Tennessee. Wild card, I'm going to go Miami. I'm going to go Baltimore. And I'm going to go Chargers. Yeah, I don't think the Jets or Patriots make it. I think it's going to, I don't know how it's going to shake out, the seeding, but those are going to be the wild card teams. Yeah, it's tough, but that AFC, man, that is talent. That is like across the board. I wouldn't be surprised if any team goes to the Super Bowl, if they're healthy. If every team is fully loaded, it could be anyone's. It's anyone's conference. As for the NFC, it's not the same. Kind of sucks a little bit, but I think the top 3 will remain the top 3. I think the top 4 will remain the top 4 in terms of seeding. Wild card is Dallas. Obviously, the last 2 spots are really the only 2 spots that are up. I think it's Giants and I think it's Detroit. I think Detroit makes it. I think that's the playoff picture for you, man. That's my prediction. I just want to throw that in there because playoffs are coming, man. I fucking love the playoffs. You got college football national championship, the Natty, the Peach Bowl, man, and it's just the Ohio State and Georgia, bro. I'm gonna be so hammered. I'm gonna be so hammered. I don't care. Not afraid to say it on live TV. This is live TV. This is my television show. I'm not afraid to say it, bro. And with that, we're going shout outs. Shout out Chargers content, man. I really like their page, really like their graphics. I'm a Chargers supporter, and I was looking for a page on Chargers content. This guy has the best. Go follow him. Shout out Niners Detail, bro. Their reels, their edits, fire. If you're a 49er fan, if you're just a football fan, go watch those edits and follow. Really amazing stuff. Shout out my boy, Dre Greenlaw. Big play, Dre. He's the fucking GOAT. Really great linebacker. Quietly playing like the best linebacker in football. Should be a Pro Bowler. Should be an All-Pro. And last, before we go, this is a long-ass episode. Fuck my life. But the Deep Ball. Go follow the Deep Ball. You already know what to do. Best Instagram page. Best football page out there. We have everything from highlights, news, to great graphics, to lists and rankings. I just got it all. And if you want me to do something for your team, any kind of content suggestions, my DMs are wide ass open. So go say something. If you want, even if you just want to talk ball, man, talk life, whatever. I'll see you. Thanks for tuning in. Balls deep.